First of all, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I think this is a really important presentation, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. I have a need for it. Um, I want to let you know before we get started about, I have an exciting announcement. Our concert in June will be the first live concert in person where we are inviting you to the library to enjoy the music in person since the pandemic started. All of our concerts, all of our programs have been remote, but starting in June, most will be in person, starting with our June 12th concert at 2 p.m. You will still register online for your free tickets, but you will come to the library and enjoy music the way it's supposed to be enjoyed live and in person. And we have, as our performer, I'm happy to say, Fruitland Jackson. I don't know if you saw him. He was here a few years ago at the library, well, more than 2 years since it was pre-COVID. And he is a singer and he plays the acoustic guitar. He's also a storyteller, though, and he is going to be presenting the history of the blues. So he is going to be performing many songs, but he also tells the background stories about the blues and its roots in African American music and history. He's a great entertainer, but like I said, he's also a magnificent storyteller. So it will be a great afternoon. So please join us on June 12th at 2 p.m. with Fruitland Jackson. And then I'll be letting you know, like I said, most of the programs over the summer will be in person. There are a few that will be virtual, but that will be in the newsletter, which is coming out soon. And also I'll be making announcements at every program. So I want to get started with tonight's program. We have joining us Chantal Franklin. She is a representative from the Illinois Attorney General's office. She is going to be presenting information about consumer protection, which unfortunately is something that we need right now because it's kind of the scams and everything are kind of rampant. She's going to advise us on what to do if we're victims of fraud or deception, and she's also going to give us some tips on how to avoid getting scammed. So please welcome Chantal Franklin.
Thank you so much, Janet. And I want to thank you to the Rolling Meadows Public Library for having me today. And I also want to thank all of the attendees for being on. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and share a presentation with you all about our programs and services in the Office of the Illinois Attorney General. Right. So again, my name is Chantal Franklin. I am a community outreach liaison with the Office of the Illinois Attorney General. I will share with you all that I've been with the office for about 3 years now. I'm excited to come and share some information with you guys about our programs and services. I want to give a quick disclaimer that I am not an attorney. I consider playing one on TV. However, I am not one. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. I cannot give any legal advice, but I will share again how you can access the programs and services in our office and our Consumer Fraud and Protection Division in case you're ever a scam of any of these fraud schemes that I will share this evening. Okay, so the agenda for tonight. I'm going to start by giving you all an overview of the Office of the Attorney General. I'll talk about consumer fraud and give you guys some scam updates. I'll talk about the process for getting help from the office, and I can answer any questions that you may have. I'll also make sure everyone here has my contact information. So in the event you are not able to ask any questions currently, we can connect after the presentation. So I want to start with sharing information with you all about who the Attorney General is. So I would normally do some sort of trivia if we were in person and ask who knows who the Attorney General is. And it's a hint because it's on the screen. But the Attorney General is Kwame Raoul. He has served as the Illinois Attorney General since 2019. And prior to serving in this role as Illinois Attorney General, he actually served as a state senator for 14 years. So he used that policy experience mixed with the law, education that he had, and translated that over to the Attorney General's office. And you all may ask, well, what are the duties of the Attorney General? What does he have to do? What does it entail? So he is the chief legal officer of the state of Illinois. And I know that sounds extremely important. So I want to talk you all through what that actually entails. So it is his job to protect the public interest of all Illinois residents. And you may ask, well, how is that done? We like to explain it with the acronym ALL. So we start with advocating for consumers and residents. And that advocacy typically looks like us performing a mediation process on behalf of any Illinois residents. We litigate. So we go after those in court who have violated the laws. We also have authority to investigate different bodies, in which I'll share some additional information about when I talk about some of the crime things that our office works on. He represents state government in court. So in part of that litigation, it is important to note that the Attorney General actually represents the state. And then lastly, want to just share that we work with the Illinois General Assembly to come up with new laws. So each year, our office, we get complaints. We're able to compile the top complaints that we've received, and we're able to then work with legislators in Springfield to come up with new laws to protect the public. So now I want to talk to you all about where you can find us if you need us. So you can always reach out to the Attorney General's office if you have any questions, if you need to address any specific topics. We highly advise reaching out to our office. We have offices in Springfield and Chicago. We also have regional offices. However, the most efficient way to get in touch with us right now is through our telephone hotlines and helplines. And we have tons of support staff who are able and willing to take your calls and your information so that we can have an advocate follow up with you. As it relates to our telephone hotlines, as I'll share with you all in a second, they are tailored to the different topics and bureaus that we have in our office. If you take a look at the graphic in the corner, you'll see in the shape of Illinois, some of the different issues that our office handles daily. And you'll see some of those larger ones in that word cloud, like consumer protection, identity theft hotline. We do a lot of advocating for seniors. So that's some of the work that we do in our office. We have a lot of resources related to crime victims. So we always try to make sure that people know that they can call us if they need us. Our telephone hotlines are always staffed. In addition to that, our website is a hub for information. And I want to say this to you all. I'm going to come bragging because our office actually updated our website as recent as this week. And so it is not as ancient as it used to be, where you had to click a whole lot of links to try to find things. It is streamlined. It's looking so much better. So please do check that out. It's www.illinoisattorneygeneral.gov. And you can find some more information there. We have all of our publications and brochures available online as well. So some of the information I'll be sharing with you all tonight, you'll be able to access and download these different brochures. I'll also coordinate with Janet to make sure that anyone who's interested in receiving some brochures and information, that we can get it out to you. And then lastly, one of the ways that you can get in touch with our office is through community outreach liaisons like myself. So I am a team of 8 in which we are able to travel across the state and share information about our office programs and services. So if you or anyone that you serve will be interested or will benefit from any of this information, please do feel free to contact me. We're happy to come out and give presentations as you guys are planning your summer and spring fairs, your summer and fall fairs. fairs, please keep us in mind. We would love to come out and be a part of those, bring some literature for people to know about these scams that are going on in different ways that they can protect themselves. So that's how you can find us. You can reach us through our office. You can reach us through our phone lines. You can come in. You can go into our website and you can find all of our publications. You can also file complaints online. And then lastly, community outreach liaisons like myself, we're always able and willing to assist and connect you to the right resources within our office. So next, I want to talk to you guys about the way that the Attorney General's office is structured. You can think of our office as an extremely large law office. We have over 40 bureaus. We have over 750 attorneys. In addition to that, we have investigation staff, we have administrative staff, community outreach liaisons like myself, and we are always working hard in different specialty areas to serve the constituents as best we can. So the most common bureau in our office, or you can think of it as a specialty area, is consumer protection. So what does that look like? Someone or any Illinois resident has an issue with a business or organization, they reach out to our office for mediation services. We're able to step in and provide them with assistance. So I will say that consumer protection is our most common bureau in which a lot of people get in contact with our office, but many people don't know that we have many other services available. So I'll walk you all through some of those. And if you are able, I would ask that if you have, if you are able to type in the chat any of any engagement in terms of some of the questions I would ask, I would love to hear you all's feedback on that. So first, I want to start with healthcare. How many of you all knew that the Attorney General's office had a healthcare bureau? If you have heard of it, I ask that you drop a 1 in the chat. If you never heard of it, you can drop a 0 in the chat. I just want to get a feel for what level of understanding we have of the Attorney General's office. Okay. All righty. Well, in our healthcare bureau, the Attorney General's office is able to provide consumers with assistance with understanding their healthcare as it relates to any providers you may have issues with, any insurance companies you may have issues with. If you are interested in just having someone advocate for you and help you understand your policy, we highly encourage reaching out to our office. We have mediators available, we have intake staff, we have medical doctors, as well as attorneys available in our healthcare bureau that can help you to understand whatever your healthcare issue may be. And we have been able to honestly help individuals recover or be relieved from very high and hefty healthcare bills. For example, one of the examples I will share is that in our office, we had a report of a Illinois resident. She had cancer, and her health insurance did not want to cover the treatments that she received. So as a result, she was hit with a $37,000 bill, which is pretty hefty, right? We all understand how healthcare bills can pile up. So with her healthcare bill, it was nearly $37,000. Her insurance refused to cover it. Our office, she filed a complaint with our office. We were able to step in and we were able to write a letter of support to her healthcare company, to her healthcare insurance, and let them know that this was some treatment that was necessary, and kind of supporting the idea that they would actually cover it and not hold that constituent responsible. And as a result of helping and providing that letter of support, we were able to get that overturned. So that claim was originally denied, and we were able to get the claim successfully processed by the healthcare insurance. So the consumer was no longer on the hook for $37,000. And that's just an example to you all about some of the healthcare that we're able to provide. So if you have anything that's in collections, any medical bills that you have any questions about, reach out to our office. You can file a complaint with us. Right now, you can reach out to the hotline related to our healthcare. And I'll share some more about that in the bureaus when we discuss the common scams that are going on. So In addition to our healthcare bureau, I'm a person that likes to give, right? Especially around the holidays. And one of the things I really like to give to is causes greater than myself. And one of the things that we have available to you all in our Attorney General's office is the Charitable Trust Bureau, in which we keep a database of charitable organizations in the state of Illinois. They're required to file with our office. They provide us with their financial records. And if you ever find yourself in a position where you want to give, you can reach out to our Charitable Trust Bureau. In addition to that, we have a Crime Victim Services Bureau. This is one of the bureaus that many people are not aware of, but we are definitely trying to share the updates. As I shared with you all, though we don't have the power to create any laws, we are able to work with elected officials in Springfield to come up with new laws, or changes to existing laws to better serve the Illinois public. And one example of that is our Crime Victims Compensation Act. That was recently updated as of January 1 of 2022. And so anyone that's a victim of a crime in Illinois can apply with our office and receive financial reimbursement. And so what do we reimburse? What are some of those charges? We reimburse things like medical bills. If the victim is deceased, then we reimburse things like funeral and burial services. We provide counseling services, and we provide reimbursement for these services. We don't actually have counseling services available. But in addition to that, if you have any lost wages, our office is able to step in. So with that, it's currently capped at $27,000. We're pushing this information out there because as of August 7th of 2022, the cap per victim will be $45,000. So we recognize that $27,000, that had been the amount since its inception in 1973. So for us to be able to move forward and get that amount bumped up, especially with the amount of crimes and things that we hear about going on in our state, that's been an extremely huge win. So we wanted you all to know about that. If you know anybody that's a victim of a crime, or you have resources available in the Attorney General's office. We hear about a lot of hate crimes that are happening right now. Our office has a civil rights bureau. If you or anybody that you know believe that your rights have been violated, please do reach out to our office. We're happy to step in. Anybody here have student loan debt? Our office is very helpful as it relates to student loan debt. We're able to step in and help consumers understand what their rights are as it relates to student loans and borrowing. More recently, we have released some additional information about knowing before you owe. So a lot of these student loans have been predatory. So we're trying to cut back on some of those things by helping consumers understand their rights as it relates to their student loan plans and servicers. In addition to that, identity theft. That's one of the most common bureaus that we have as well. If you or anyone you know is a victim of identity theft, please reach out to our office. We have individuals available that are able to help you start that road to recovery. We understand how stressful that process is. So our office, we're fully staffed on hand to be able to assist with those issues as well. And as well as if you have any issues with your public utilities, our office is able to step in and provide advocacy services on your behalf as well. So we have many different specialty areas is what we want you all to take away from here. The most common and the largest one is the consumer protection, but we have a large array of programs and services. So now I'm going to talk about briefly what are some of the things our office is doing to keep communities safe from crime. And I'll be clear that we are not the state's attorney's office, so we are not allowed to prosecute people or anything like that. But our office does have authority to do certain investigations. So wanted to share some of the investigations that are going on. We're currently investigating online predators. Anybody that's online threatening children, our office have undercover investigators who are able to check those things out and go after those people that are committing those crimes. In addition to that, our office, we have a online safe smart website that's designed especially for young adults to be able to have tips and tricks as well as their parents to how they can successfully and safely navigate the internet and smartly. In addition to that, a lot of smash and grab crimes going on. I'm sure you all have heard of it. Our office is actually has actually created a retail crime task force in which we are investigating these smash and grab crimes that are happening across the state, especially here in near the inner city near Chicago. So also wanted to share that in the event that municipalities are not able to be fully staffed and handle the capacity of their cases, our office also steps in there to participate with some of those violent crime cases that you may hear about. We'll step in and provide different municipalities with resources so that they can better investigate those cases. We also have been working to prevent mass trainings in schools, as well as mass trainings that are happening in places of worship. We have partnered with the U.S. Secret Service to put together different programs available to people to come and take these trainings so that they know about the different signs and warnings that are happening out there as it relates to individuals coming into different spaces of worship, schools, and different public places committing these mass shootings. And it's so heart-wrenching to hear about all of the different things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. I'm glad to hear that our office is working to try to put some prevention with it, but it is really, really sad in some of the things that are happening in our country right now. Our office is also working to investigate different hate crimes and unconstitutional police practices. So one example I want to share as it relates to the unconstitutional police practices is our office is currently investigating the Joliet Police Department. And what we're doing is we're collecting community input, positive or negative, so that we can see what are the practices that have been going on out in Joliet. And then as a result, our office will put out a report with different recommendations. So that's just an example of some of the investigations our office is able to do. And of course, I just share with you all the expansion of our crime victim services program, which we're really proud of, because we understand how many people need this program or need some sort of resource, especially as it relates to violent crime, because crime impacts us all in ways that we don't expect. So it is best that we have some sort of resource available, and you definitely do in the Attorney General's office with our crime victims compensation program. Now let's talk about the scams in like protecting Illinois consumers. I would have you all guess, if we were in person, what was the top consumer complaint in 2021? And hint to everybody, it's actually on the screen. That top scam that we see is the construction and home improvement debt. Every year, our office compiles a list of all of the top complaints that we receive. We then rank those complaints and we're able to share them out with the public. So construction and home improvement was a top one. Consumer debt was also up there. Motor vehicles and used auto sales, that's always at the top of our list, as well as a new one that's topped the list. In 2020, it was number 1. So it's surprising to see it number 4, even 2 years later. But COVID-19 fraud and those scams, our office investigated everything from vaccination and booster scams, as well as COVID testing site scams. We also saw scams that were related to price gouging. Don't we love when toilet paper was $10 at a time, right? Our office was able to go after those businesses that were price gouging as a result of the pandemic. Our office has also worked with different agencies, such as the Department of Employment Security, to investigate some of the unemployment scam. And believe it or not, with the unemployment scams, those debit cards were coming out, and the Attorney General himself had actually received one of those debit cards. So someone had actually tried to fraud the Attorney General himself. So I'm saying that to say we really got to go to the next layer to protect ourselves, because no one is safe. Yeah, so also wanted to share that as it relates to us protecting Illinois consumers and putting together these different lists, we were able to recover nearly $20 million in litigation. And you may ask, well, what does that look like? Our office may be able to retrieve refunds. We may be able to receive settlements from different companies, in which we're able to share that back out with consumers who have been victims. Now I'll talk to you guys about the common scams and how we can avoid them, because we are the first line of defense. That's going to be a very common thing that you're going to hear me speak about today, is being the first line of defense, especially as it relates to these consumer fraud scams. I shared with you all earlier that each year our office compiles the list of the common scams. Interesting enough, right now, the most common scams that we're seeing are here. The home repair scams, telephone and online marketing scams, imposter scams, healthcare scams, and of course, believe it or not, charity scams. People will play on your heartstrings there. And so today I just want to provide you all with some tips about how you can protect yourselves from these different scams, because they are out there and we want you guys to be safe. So starting with home repair scams. It's getting pretty nice outside. Actually, my forecast tells me it's about 86 degrees. And so with that being said, as the weather is breaking, people want to do some work on their home. And so what we want you all to watch out for is door-to-door salespeople, but even some people that will be calling without any connections, and they want to come inside of your house and do some sort of work. Even if not coming inside of your house, they want to go up on a roof. They want to come in the backyard. We don't want you guys to allow anybody to come into your properties. We find that you let somebody up on a roof, what will typically happen is that there's nothing actually wrong with the roof, but they will go up there, make some things wrong with it, take pictures, come down and let you know now that their services are needed. So we don't want you all getting scammed in that way. We see it happen a lot to our seniors. Even if you may need some work done on your house, we want you to ask around locally. We want you to ask your friends, your family. We want you to see that whoever you may be working with is reputable, because we don't want you finding yourself in a position where you are being scammed by a contractor. So we also expect you to do due diligence. So I'm not sure how many of you all use the internet, but a great hub and a great way to start is to check the online presence of a contractor. You want to see, do they have any phone numbers? Do they have any emails? How can I get in contact with them? And if you do not see any of those things, if there's no address, if it's only a PO box, that is actually a red flag. And you want to be careful moving forward with the individual. Even if they come door to door and they have some sort of contract for you, it's blank spaces as it relates to the dates and the payouts, even as it relates to the amounts. If you get any of that sort of response from a contractor, we would say that may be a little bit fishy. Even if you're required to pay a lump sum up front, sometimes it is common to hear some sort of deposit be paid up front, and it depends on what you negotiate. However, we don't want you guys to pay for any of this work up front. We don't want you guys to sign any contracts, as I mentioned, that have blank spaces. Even with ticket inspections, sometimes these individuals will be misleading, in which they will provide you with inspection for free only if you decide to go with their services. So we just want you guys to be careful. Here are some ways that you can stop the scam. And one of my favorite things to do, especially with getting work done on my home, is to get written estimates. I love to shop around. I love to ask what is the different rates. And then I love to actually compare them amongst each other. I love to also be transparent, let them know I'm shopping around. If anybody has an issue with you shopping around, that may be a red flag. We want you to check the contractor's background, and there's no, at least that I know of, there's no like running database of contractors' background. You generally will have to use your discretion in this particular case as well. So what we want you to do as it becomes to checking the background, you can ask for licenses, you can ask for insurance, and that's a big thing that we want you to ask for, not only licenses, but insurance. You want to make sure this person is bonded. If they do something wrong or they run off, are you protected? So you want to ask for those kinds of things. And if somebody is upset because you are asking to verify their personal information or their licenses, the professional licenses that they worked hard to receive, then that's another red flag. And if you do find yourself a victim of any home repair scam in which you have allowed someone in your home and someone has scammed you, please alert your local law enforcement. We do rely heavily on any reports, any information that may be reported to your local law enforcement. So we highly encourage reporting that, as well as the home repair scams. If somebody's doing it to you, they likely will do it to your neighbor. If they're soliciting business from you, they'll likely do the same from your neighbors. So you want to make sure you you alert local law enforcement, and then you can also file a complaint with the Attorney General's office. If we are able to get enough complaints about a particular issue, organization, or business, and then we're able to take legal action as it relates to any violation they may have had of the Consumer Fraud Acts that are out there. All righty, now I want to talk to you guys about imposter scams. I'm pretty sure everybody that's on the call will agree with me when I ask who has received some sort of robocall in the past week. And that was just being conservative, saying the week. We're seeing a lot of things that are happening here where the fraudsters are pretending to be people that they're not. And what they're trying to do is that they're trying to gain your trust so that they can take some money from you. We're seeing this happen particularly amongst our seniors. One of the most common scams that are happening, imposter scams amongst our seniors that I want you all to be aware of, is the grandparent scam. I don't know how many of you all have heard of this scam, but let me explain what this scam is. You'll have someone that'll reach out. They will pretend to be your grandchild. They will call you at a time in which you are not fully awake or not fully alert, and able to interact with them and understand what's going on. They're looking to have you keep things a secret. They'll call you up. They'll say, hey, grandma. They'll be actually waiting for you to affirm some information like names. So we want you to be very careful with those kinds of things. But they'll say, hey, grandma, grandpa, I'm in trouble. I need you to come and pick me up, or I need you to go and send me some money for the police are coming to get me. I'm in Rolling Meadows at the public library, right? So they come up with some sort of grand story in which they need you to rescue them. But what it is that they will ask you for some sort of payment that will, I want you all to logically think about some of these things, and if you can actually even utilize some of these things as it relates to like getting out of jail, right? So let's say you have a grandchild that's actually in some trouble, right? Would a police officer allow you to pay in gift cards? No. And if you do have a police department that will allow you to pay in gift cards, please put me in contact with them. I would love to learn more information about that program. In addition to that, if they're asking you to do something like wire money, I'm in jail, I need you to wire money, they're not going to let me go. Or I'm in some trouble with some bad guys, they're not going to let me go. We don't want you to just move forward with want to send any money off in that regard. We don't want your first act to be going to pick up your wallet, right? You get some sort of call, somebody's asking for some money on the receiving end, and you go grab your wallet. We do not want that to be your first course of action. What we want to happen, and I'll share with you guys, is that we want you to first hang up or let it go to voicemail. Our first piece of advice is to just hang up. If you find yourself answering the phone for an imposter, hang up. Do not engage. Or if you're like me, one of the things I enjoy doing is letting it go to voicemail. Things that are pretty important, people that really need to get in contact with you, they will certainly leave you a message. Or they will take an extra step to reach out to you in a different way. And so I rely heavily on that, on letting it go to voicemail, because if it's important, they'll leave a message. I shared this with you guys, but we'll make a pact today. We will not be buying gift cards unless they are intended for a gift. We will not be buying gift cards for anyone pretending to be something they're not, pretending to be a company they're not, pretending to be a business or an organization or debt collection that they're not. We're not going to buy any gift cards, and we're also not going to wire money. Wire fraud is up extremely high right now. Once that money is gone, we cannot recover it. It is much harder to try to recover funds after you have sent them. So we do not want you to even be a victim. We don't want you to even share that information with anyone. Another best piece of advice that we have is to trust but verify. So let's say you actually do owe somebody or a company or business or organization or family. Somebody calls you and they claim that you owe them some sort of money. What we want you to do is trust but verify. Sure, I may owe the IRS. Sure, I may owe a family member, or a family member may be in trouble. Sure, this agency may need to reach out to me for my public utility. But what we want you guys to do is actually move move forward with initiating those calls. We don't want you guys to just trust the person and start sharing your personal information over the phone. One of our best pieces of advice is that you are the first line of defense. I said that you'll hear me say that a lot of times this evening, is that you are the first line of defense. So when it comes to that, we want you to trust but verify any information you may hear or receive. Call your loved one. If somebody is calling pretending to be a loved one, call them, verify those stories. Make sure your grandchild is where they need to be at that particular time. In addition to that, if you are receiving any calls from a business or an organization, we want you to facilitate those calls. We don't want you to move forward with just sharing your personal information. We want you to hang up, and we want you to actually make sure that you're talking to the person from the company. You'll find that sometimes, most times, you will be getting scammed if you allow somebody to just call you and you begin to just share your personal information with them. And I'll also tell you something that is pretty unfortunate if you all didn't know this, but the IRS does not have the resources available to call you. So they too will not call you. I'll share this with you guys. If you do find yourself victim of any of these imposter scams, and it happens to the best of us, I want you guys to please report this information. Report. You can report it to the Attorney General's office. You can also report it to your local law enforcement. We want to keep you guys protected. Next, let's talk about telephone and online scams. These are some of the most common ones that are happening right now. I want to ask, how many people get robocalls here? You can drop it in the chat. I get them 110% of the time, and I hate them. I want to just share some tips and practices that we have for these telephone and online scams. If you ever find yourself, anybody on this presentation that owns a computer, I want you guys to be very aware of the tech support scams that are happening right now. We got an IT guy on the line, Mike, and I'm so glad that you're with us today. He will not call you and ask you to remote into your computer, especially if you are not in the same organization. So a lot of people are doing that, where they will call you and they will tell you they need to remote into your computer. They are some tech support, and what they will do is the same thing that a person would do if you allowed them on your roof. They will go up and create a problem for themselves to fix. So that being said, you allow somebody to remote into your computer, they'll likely place some sort of malware or scam on there in which you were not interested in having. And then that issue becomes even more expensive than the original issue that could have been wrong. So we want you to know, all in all, never, ever, ever let anybody remote into your computer, not from a particular company. I know sometimes Apple will allow it. In those cases, if you do need to, you need to allow any sort of tech support, go to the company. Don't allow them to do it over the phone or place any malware on your stuff. Fake emails are happening a lot from Amazon. Where else am I seeing them from? All different senders. And some of them are looking pretty real. We want you guys to know that even if you get any from your financial institutions, that if they're trying to capture any of your personal information, it's likely not a real email. One of the things I like to utilize is that if anything I think may even possibly be a fake email, I go and look at the sender. I don't just look at the name of the sender, but I may hover over the mouse. So if I'm on my phone, I'll click on the sender because I want to verify who that sender is. Sometimes you'll see it where it's an email pretending that it's coming from Amazon, telling you something's going on with your account, but the sender is actually 12345 at AOL.com, right? Something that doesn't make a lot of sense, but somehow 12345 at AOL.com knows what's going on with your Amazon account. Yeah, typically it's fishy, and we don't want you guys to move forward with responding or clicking on any of those links. One of my best practices, one of the things we recommend often in the office, is moving forward with blocking it. Any get rich quick schemes. I want to say this to you all. If you are asked to have any sort of savings, one of the most common things that were happening right before the pandemic hit was those the heat scams. And we were seeing people in which they were trying to get you to change your energy supplier, and they'll provide you with a $50 gift card, or they'll provide you with some sort of gift card in Target, or some sort of grand gift, right? That'll bribe you into doing what they want you to do. We don't want you guys to fall for those, not even getting any travel packages. They sound really, really good. Most of the times it's a scam. So trust but verify. We've talked about this. Anything where you have to win something and they are asking you to pay, you likely didn't win anything. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's the truth. If you are expected to pay $1,000 to retrieve $10,000 that you won, that is likely not going to be something that is actually real earnings. What you want to be aware of is even if some taxes or something may be deducted from your earnings, that could be deducted on the back end. We don't want you paying up front thinking that you guys are going to be able to receive some sort of compensation in return. And then lastly, if a utility contacts you and they say they're about to suspend your service, ComEd, People's Gas, any of those, even Nicor, any of those companies, they do not have the capacity to call you. And if they are calling you and demanding some sort of payment, again, we're asking you to trust but verify. One company that gets a bad rap, but I want you all to be aware of, is that do not call registry. That is a great resource. We recommend that you put your number on there. You keep it on there at least every 90 days, just so that individuals are not able to call you. Even if you are getting these robocalls, we want you to move forward blocking them no matter what kind of phone you have. We recognize that this is a nationwide issue. This is not just an issue that is happening in the state of Illinois. So the Attorney General is actually working with different attorneys generals across the United States to come up with different ways to go after these phone companies that are allowing these imposters to create these accounts. Okay, next I'll talk to you guys about charity scams. I shared with you already that the Attorney General's office has available a database for all charitable organizations in the state. And one of the things we just want you to be aware of, somebody calls you, they ask you to make a donation right away. We're seeing that happen with some police associations and with some sheriff associations. We have not been able to confirm that those are real calls or real organizations. So we want you to tread lightly when donating to any of those organizations. One of the things you can do is request that information in writing, ask them for it in the mail, or you can also ask them what percentage of their funds goes where. Like I said, if this particular organization is not in good standing with the Attorney General's office, you want to be very aware of that, because if it's not in good standing with the Attorney General's office, they're not able to provide their documentation to stay in good standing. Do you really want to be providing your monies there? That's something you want to use your discretion and ask yourself. But ultimately, what we want you to know with the charity scams, you can reach out to our office and get any information about that database. You can also, if you may serve organizations that have to register with the database, but just want you guys to know about those scams. And if you do get any calls, you can ask them to mail the information. Do not share your address over the phone, though. I normally use that as a pop quiz. Would you share your address? No, you wouldn't. You don't want to give anybody that you don't know your address just because they called and asked you for a donation. Then we also want you to hang up. You don't know who it is. You don't even want to engage. You don't want to give them any ammo against you. Lastly, I'll share with you guys healthcare scams. They're happening all over. We're seeing them related to COVID-19. I shared the vaccines, everything that has been happening with the fake testing sites. But in addition to that, we want you guys that if anybody, anywhere you go is claiming that they can cure all of something, you want to be aware of that. That's likely not going to be something that's real. Be aware of the medical products or services that are being offered for free. We have heard in our office about a body scan that had been offered for free. However, it was offered for free the first time, but you had to purchase 3. So we were seeing people get scammed out of nearly $5,000 for these body scans that were supposed to be free. So be aware of that. And any upfront payment, if it's not a copay that you're aware that you need to be paying, we want you guys to be very cautious of this, because it's much harder for us to recover any funds that you may have given to a provider after you've given them up. So it's much better for you if you have any debts or bills or anything you got questions about, reach out to our healthcare bureau at 877-305-5145. The IRS imposter scams are out there. We want you to know the IRS will never call you, okay? They don't have the resources available. And if you do owe them, we highly recommend that you reach out and you verify that you're reaching out to the IRS directly. Sweetheart scams are also happening, in which we have been seeing a lot of individuals, namely seniors, that have sent money to someone that they may have met online, and they have never met them in person, in which they have things have been going great. They've gotten to know each other, talking over the phone. However, now they are being asked for some level of money, right? And what they do is that because they have gained some sort of level of trust with this person, they're actually sending the money. So we've seen it happen in the amounts of $40,000, $80,000. And what we don't want you guys is to be the victims of this at all. We don't want you guys to go and send any money to anybody who you do not know on the receiving end, okay? If you never met that person on the receiving end, we're making a pact today that you will never send money in that way. You will not buy any gift cards, and you will trust but verify. This is a wonderful pact, you guys. So lastly, let's talk about what it looks like getting help from the Attorney General's office. I know I've been talking a lot and I don't want to hold you guys up. I just want to briefly discuss the process for getting help from the Attorney General's office. So we just talked about some of those common scams. If you find yourself a victim of any of those scams, let's talk about some of the things that you can do to protect yourself. And so we're going to start by our steps to filing and resolving a complaint. And it's typically done in 3 steps. First, you'll contact us, we'll review your complaint, and then we'll resolve it. And you may ask Chantel, what does those different stages look like? So first, contacting our office. I shared with you all before that you can contact our office by visiting. You can give us a phone call. You can reach out to the outreach liaison like myself, or you can also get online. Our complaint forms are available online. You can also submit supporting documentation as well. Next, we'll start reviewing it. So after you've reached out to our office, you filed that complaint, you've given us supporting documentation, we'll start to review it. We'll start to investigate. We want to know what's going on. We'll be reaching out to the business or the organization. We'll be sending them letters on your behalf, letting them know that there needs to be some sort of response. And typically when the Attorney General's office reaches out, I'll say that we typically do get a response because nobody wants to deal with the chief legal officer coming after their business. And then lastly, we move forward with a resolution. And in some cases, resolutions can look like our office reaching back out to the business, asking them to please stop the fraudulent activities they're doing, our office requiring them to pay some sort of restitution or refund. And then lastly, we can, in some cases, we're able to reach some sort of settlements in and out of court. So we try to take those steps to resolve complaints. And so it just starts with you contacting us, sharing your documentation. We'll start reviewing it. Then we'll get you a resolution. Even if it's something our office can't handle, we'll refer you out, or we will actually let you know what are the different things that you should do to get moving on your case. So, and I went through these. And so, yeah, lastly, I want to just throw on the screen here. These are consumer fraud hotlines. This is how you can get in contact with us. As I shared with you all, we have so many different areas and specialties that we cover in our office, but these are the most common that people get in touch with our office for. And if you all find yourself in need of any of this information, please do not hesitate to reach out to our office or visit our website. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here today. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I can answer any questions that anyone may have. Hopefully we're not going too far over time. I'll pass it back over to you, Janet.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? It was so thorough. Unfortunately, probably everybody else feels the same way. I'm familiar with most of these just because people have tried. People coming door to door. Already this spring, I've had a couple of people. I get these texts from supposedly my bank telling me my account is locked. And if I click on the link, I know not to click on the link. I called, like you said, I called the bank, but there's always something new coming up. And so it's just so good to be aware of it, and good to know that if something does happen, unfortunate, we can come to your office, contact your office and get some help.
Yes, absolutely. Even if you just have a question and you're not even sure if this is something our office covers, reach out. We always say that because most times consumers don't even know the first place that they can go. A lot of the times we deal with these issues, or we get asked the questions a lot. So we know where to send you if in the event that it's not anything our office can handle.
Exactly. You'll refer us to the right place if you can't help.
Yes, we have a lot of partner agencies that we work with, even as it relates to legal aid. Let's say we aren't able to help legally because we cannot represent anybody. What can happen is we work with different legal aid agencies that we can try to refer you to try to get some pro bono work done if that was something that they were interested in. Is there a way to report scam messages? This was in the chat. That's an excellent question. I wish there was. I just got one approximately while I was doing this presentation, believe it or not, 614 Citi. I don't have a Citi bank account. Citi, your checking account has been placed on an immediate hold. Please visit. It's a fake phony website here or the nearest branch. I don't have that account. It came to my phone. When I say it's definitely ridiculous, one of the things that I do and the measures I take is to try to block these numbers. So as they're coming in, I do have an iPhone in which anyone who has access to an iPhone, in some cases Android phones as well, you will be able to block these numbers from texting or calling you. So therefore, I did just get this fake phony text message, and it's actually from what looks like a phone number, right? So I know that it's not real. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the feature on my phone that allows me those 3 extra dots where you will go to save your contact. You can also go there if you would like to block a contact. And so I go and I block these contacts from being able to reach out to me. And so that is a way. You can also register your number with the do not call list. I'm finding the blocking being a lot more effective. Also, depending on the phone company you may have, I've been getting a lot of heads up, like a scam likely, that they'll let me know what's going on, that it's likely a scam in which I won't pick it up or I won't respond. So that's just another way that you can do something about it. But unfortunately, I get them. Like I said, I got one actually in the middle of this presentation.
That's kind of funny.
Yes, yes, but they are a little bit out of control. And so we recommend that blocking feature.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much. You gave a lot of great information. I took some notes, and if I do need anything, I can get in touch with you, and if there's any kind of information I need, you can send it out to me, correct? I mean, if somebody asks me that's here that wants to know something else, I can get in touch.
Yes, and I'm actually going to drop my information in the chat again for you all. That's actually my cell phone number there. So you all can reach me. I'm happy to help out with any issues that you may be having. Even if you just want to know who in the office you should talk to, I'm happy to connect you. That's one of the things I really find joy in doing, is connecting people to the right resources. So I appreciate you guys for being on with me, especially on this Thursday evening when the weather is so nice.
Yes, finally a nice evening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I won't stand in the middle of a wonderful rest of the evening and you guys. So I want to thank you so much for the opportunity. We'll be partnering again soon, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, you have a good evening too, Chantal. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.